Good afternoon, Western Washington, and happy Saturday. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather, and today we're going to take a look at the forecast for the next few days here with some pretty cold temperatures ahead. So starting here with the satellite imagery, you can see we had some low fog there in the Snoqualmie Valley, in the Green River Valley there, and along parts of southwest interior on I-5 there. You can see some fresh snow across parts of eastern Washington there near Douglas and Okanogan counties and over by Spokane. And then we have some mid-level clouds that are going to be moving across the area today, but it will still remain mostly sunny. This is a traffic camera image from this morning in Kent there, and you can see how with this very low freezing fog, it almost looked like it snowed, but this is all frost. So when you have freezing fog that gets really low to the ground, when you have cold temperatures in the 20s there, you can get some of this frost here, and you can see how it covers all of these. It covered most of the road there where cars aren't driving, and it covers everything that is not the road. So this can cause you to lose traction. It can cause some icy roads, especially on overpasses, and that happens when you get this really low fog, and that is a threat over the next few mornings here, so do be aware of that. Taking a look here at low temperatures today, you can see Seattle there, SeaTac Airport got to 27 degrees. You can see lows in the mid-20s, some of the outlying areas. Olympia Airport, 23. Mid-20s there around Shelton. The coast even dropping into the low to mid-30s and down to 25 there at Quileute Airport. You can see Bellingham 25, 21 in the coldest spot there in Arlington, and even places along the water like Whidbey Island down to 29 degrees. Take a look over here in Winthrop there, parts of eastern Washington in the mountain valleys dropped to -1 there in Winthrop, and you can see other parts of eastern Washington in the upper teens. So it was a pretty cold morning across western Washington. Take a look at southwest Washington and Portland as well. You can see down into the mid-20s there in Longview, low 30s, upper 20s around the Portland metro. And this is just the beginning of a few cold mornings ahead, and the next few mornings will actually be colder than this morning here, so we could get even colder than that 27 degrees at SeaTac Airport. So let's take a look at that overall pattern here. We're looking at the sea level pressure. You can see we have a significant ridge here on the European model, but take a look over the next couple days as this Arctic high pushes south through the Rockies and into the Great Plains of the United States. There's going to be a big cold weather outbreak across most of the United States. If you haven't heard, that's the reason the presidential inauguration is going indoors. That's the reason we're going to have a lot of cold weather for all of the NFL playoff games, why we're going to have snow and cold all the way down as far south as Alabama and Florida. And this Arctic high moving down is going to push some of that cold air into western Washington. And Monday and Tuesday are going to be quite chilly. We could have some gusty winds through some of the gaps, mainly around the Columbia River Gorge there on Monday. We'll take a look at that more in a couple of days. And we're going to have cold temperatures all across the inland northwest as well, all due to that Arctic high and this ridging. You can see the pattern remains for ridging all the way through Tuesday and into Wednesday. Another ridge builds there across the northwest, bringing more high pressure and more chilly temperatures, possibly more inversions and fog. We'll have to take a look at that over the next few days as well. So let's take a look at high temperatures each day. So this is today, Saturday. You can see highs only reaching the low 40s across all of western Washington. Same thing on Sunday there, with some areas remaining in the upper 30s. Monday, upper 30s to low 40s across the region. Tuesday in the low 40s. Wednesday we start to get a little bit warmer, low to mid 40s, and Thursday we're back in the mid 40s there. However, as we go back into Friday, we start to drop back to the low 40s again. So overall, the days aren't going to be that warm. If we do have persistent fog in some locations, those highs could remain in the mid to upper 30s. Just a note there. So now taking a look here at low temperatures on the National Blend of Models, you can see this is for Sunday morning there, and you can see the National Blend of Models here is showing almost an exact repeat of this morning. However, I think this is a little bit on the warm side here. It was a couple degrees too warm today. It showed lows around 30 there at SeaTac Airport and it got to 27. So if you take a couple of degrees off these temperatures, you're looking at mid-20s for most of western Washington, some areas near the water there in the upper 20s to low 30s, and then some outlying areas maybe dropping into the low 20s. I wouldn't be surprised to see places like Tacoma and Olympia and some of the Cascade foothills there in the low to mid-20s. And then as we take a look at Monday morning there, you can see the coldest morning of the next few days. Lows in the mid-20s for areas from Seattle southward, upper 20s around the city there, and mid-20s from Seattle north. Take a look at some of the mountains. Snoqualmie Pass down to 15 degrees. places like Leavenworth down in the 10 to 15 degree range as well, and even the coast down near freezing there on Monday morning. You can see Tuesday morning, similar temperatures, low to mid 20s for the outlying areas there, and the metro area likely in the mid to upper 20s on Tuesday morning. Wednesday morning, we stay quite chilly, upper 20s for most of the I-5 corridor from the Canadian border down to Tacoma, mid-20s from Tacoma southward there, outlying areas again in the mid-20s, Seattle in the upper 20s to low 30s, coast still in the low to mid-30s. Lows start to warm up a little bit by the time we get to Thursday morning. We're only dropping to the low 30s here, some upper 20s, especially from Tacoma southward. And then by Friday morning, we are back in the low to mid 30s there. So it's going to be a few days of some pretty chilly temperatures, especially if we look back at Monday morning there. If we just take a couple degrees off some of these temperatures, you're reaching the low 20s in Olympia and Tacoma and the mid 20s in Seattle there. So if you got sensitive plants, especially if you have pets outside, this is absolutely not the time to keep any pets outside. This is just a detriment to your pet if you leave them outside in temperatures like this or colder. So just a heads up there, these are going to be some pretty chilly temperatures. It will definitely be cold in the mornings, so heads up for that and stay tuned. I'll be posting some updates on social media as well. And again, watch out for that freezing fog in some of these valleys. That can definitely cause some icy roads, especially on overpasses, and it can also cause some issues with very low visibility. So now this is the European model. I just wanted to take a look at this. This is the temperature anomaly there at 7 a.m. on Sunday, 7 a.m. on Monday there. As we're having our coldest temperatures there, you can see across the Seattle metro, we're looking at temperatures of 10 to 15 degrees below average. So that just kind of tells you what we're looking at in terms of how much of a departure from our normal temperatures this cold snap is. And then you can see in the mountains there, temperatures up to 30 degrees below average, 15 to 20 at the passes there. So this is just an interesting metric to look at to see how your forecast is deviating from the typical conditions that you see at this time of year. This is also something interesting to look at. This is through Thursday morning. You can see almost zero precipitation except for maybe a random shower in the North Cascades. This is a very unusual thing to see in mid-January, and same when you take a look at the snow map here. Seeing a map with almost no snow for the entirety of western Washington in the middle of January is a very abnormal thing. There are some indications that maybe toward the end of the month we'll start to get a little bit more active. However, that is still super far off in the extended, and we have a lot of time to figure out if that's even going to happen. So as always, you can follow me here on Western Washington Weather YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like this video, and ring that notification bell. And you can follow me on Blue Sky, on Twitter, and on Facebook. Our Facebook group is over 1,000 members, and I'm really enjoying posting some updates on there and hearing from you all as well about what kind of conditions you're seeing at your house. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you all later.